Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through MIME guys. So the full form of MIME is nothing but multi-purpose internet mail extension. So basically this is not a particular protocol you can say, but it is just an extension for normal mail guys. Electronic mails extension is nothing but MIME which we are using nowadays. Okay, so you might be having a doubt that okay, then what are the drawbacks of the normal email? You might be getting a doubt yet, right? Yes. So basically in normal email you can send only ASCII data guys. So ASCII data is nothing but numericals and a text format only. Okay, so if you want to send an image, you cannot send it with normal email. You cannot send videos, you cannot send files, you cannot send any kind of text files or anything. You can only transmit or send normal text. Okay, so that is the main drawback here. So it is a supplementary protocol that allows a non-ASCII data to be sent through email. Okay, so MIME introduced because there are some problems, limitations in the mail format which we discussed previously, that is nothing but RFC 822. They are text files or emails can be written in English, that is nothing but ASCII can only be sent. No other languages are also supported. Okay, so I think I forgot to say about this. So if you want to send an email in Chinese or in Telugu or in Hindi or any kind of language, you cannot send them guys. Okay, sorry for that guys. Okay, so basically the drawbacks we discussed, right? So we discussed about the first drawback, that is nothing but you cannot send any other languages mails guys. Like if you want to send in any other language other than English or other than ASCII representable languages, you cannot send in electronic mail. Okay, so that is the main issue. And the second issue is that you cannot send any kind of images, audio, video, or any bit files guys basically. Okay, so that was an issue. Okay, so hence the solution was proposed. This is the code guys which you should remember, that is nothing but RFC 1341, and it was further updated to RFC S2045 to 2049. Okay, so this is nothing but MIME guys. Okay, so MIME uses RFC 822 format but added structure to the message body and defined encoding rules for non-ASCII messages. Okay, so basically non-ASCII messages are a type of converted into ASCII messages. You can assume in that way guys. In this MIME, the extension will be doing that process. Okay, so MIME is a supplementary protocol that allows a non-ASCII data through email ID. So to transfer, whenever you are trying to transfer, you will be using this extension only. So MIME transforms non-ASCII data to the sender to NVT ASCII data and delivers them to the client MTA to send through internet. So the message at the receiver side is transformed back to the original message. Guys, don't worry, we'll be going through the diagram. In diagram, you'll be having a clear idea. Okay, so here is our user agent, right? So here is the sender, assume here is the receiver. So the sender sent a message in a non-ASCII code. So assume that he sent an image. Okay, so then it is sent through MIME. The extension will be converting it into a particular, they will be encoding it guys into some particular format. So here we took the example as 7-bit NVT. Okay, so it converted and it gave it to the agent. That is nothing but who is transferring, the mail transfer agent. So he will be transferring it to via, okay, so he will be transferring it, and once it is received there, then it will be again transmitted back into the original message, and then it will be shown to the user. That will be the non-ASCII code again. So basically in between this, it is converted into ASCII code guys. So this step is doing it. Okay, so we'll be discussing about those encoding mechanisms also, don't worry. Okay, so now you might be having some kind of doubt that okay, does MIME has any particular header, like what it contains and everything? Yes, there is a header because we discussed about here. I told you right 7-bit NVT. So who will be saying that this is formatted in N7-bit? Okay, so NVT 7-bit. Okay, so that things will be specified in the header guys. So there you will be specifying the MIME version, identifies the version of MIME used, content description, like what type of content, whether it is an image or what kind of content, it will be given there, and content ID, a unique ID will be given, and content transfer encoding, here the code will be encoded, like which encoding is used, and context type and format of the context is also specified. Okay, so now let us go through some 2 to 3 lines of definitions for everything, guys. So MIME version. So the header informs the user that which version of MIME is being used and which version should be used at the receiver side. Okay, similarly content description. Okay, so the header defines whether the body of the message is image, audio or video in that way. Similarly context ID, the ID, unique ID is represented, guys. Okay, so context transfer encoding. So we'll be discussing about 5 different methods in this, guys. Okay, so we'll be discussing about 5 different methods. So this header defines the methods of encoding, which encoding we are using. So the first encoding mechanism is nothing but 7-bit encoding. So in 7-bit encoding, you can represent up to 1000 characters, guys. So this schema uses 7-bit non-ASCII encoding. Okay, the length of the line should not exceed 1000. So this is the only condition you can say, guys. Okay, so you can perform this encoding whenever you want and it should not exceed 1000. So that is the only condition there. Okay, so the second type of encoding is nothing but 8-bit encoding. So this 8-bit encoding, you can simply say that whenever you write a code in HTML or any kind of web type of languages, in that you will be writing UTF-8, right? So this is nothing but 8-bit encoding, guys. So here you are using 8-bit encoding indirectly. Okay, so this is 8-bit encoding in which each line should not exceed more than 1000. So here also we are having the same condition, more than 1000. Okay, similarly binary encoding. So this is an 8-bit encoding and the length of the character can be more than 1000. Okay, and the SMTP protocol will do transfer the data in binary. So basically when the data is transferred in binary, they'll be using this protocol. Okay, so similarly moving on, let us go through base 65 encoding. So in this schema, group of 24 bits are broken into 6 4 bits being sent as a legal ASCII character. Okay, so assume that there is a huge string, guys will be going through an example also for this, don't worry. Okay, so assume that this is your whole string, right? So basically assume few letters. Okay, just give me a second, I'll be showing you an example. Okay, so I hope everyone knows the ASCII representations and all those things, right? Yes, so basically capital A ASCII value is 65, guys. Small n ASCII value is 110, that is nothing but 110. Small d ASCII value is 100. Okay, so if you represent these things in binary, it will be in this way, guys. Okay, so here we took 3 letters, so each letter is represented in 8 bits, I think. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 8 into 3, which is nothing but 24, right? So these 24 bits, so that is the reason why it is called as a base 64 encoding. Here we will be doing for 24 bits, guys. Okay, so these 24 bits are divided into 6 bits, guys. So if you assume here we broke it here, similarly we broke it here, similarly we broke it here, similarly we broke it here. So basically you formed 4 different 6 bits, guys. Okay, so 24 by 6 is nothing but 4, so we got 4 different bits. So basically we will be applying an encoding mechanism on this. So these 4 bits, the value here is nothing but 16. So the value of a base 64 table is this, guys. So you will be starting from A at 0 and Z will be ending at 25 and again continuing small letters, after that numbers. Okay, so basically based on these values, you'll be identifying which letters are there. So this is a small encoding, right? You can say that the original message is A and D, but here in between the encoded, after encoding it is QW5K. So in this way, you can say that this is also protection it is providing, like that. Okay, so that is nothing but base 64, guys. Initially it is divided into 24 bits is divided into 24 bits is divided into 6 bits individuals, 4 individuals, and those individuals are converted and they are transferred, and again the decoding process is also the same, but the reverse way. You'll be combining them and then you'll be dividing by 8. You'll be getting 3 and those 3 letters you'll be identifying. Okay, similarly queued printable encoding. So there are a few limitations in base 64. This is applied when ASCII value with a smaller number of ASCII proportions. So basically there we told that we need to have a minimum of 24, right? So there could be sometimes we need some other kind of appearances or some other kind of definition. So in that situation we will be using this, guys. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so initially assume the data is in this way, guys. So we are having 4 different bits. Here we are having a combination of ASCII and non-ASCII. So in these situations we will be using this queued printable encoding. Okay, so if it is in this way, you will be encoding it, and again you will be dividing it again into 8 only, and you will be adding an encoding part, guys. So assume this is your encoding part. You'll be just placing it in between. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, sorry for that, guys. I'm not getting an idea how we did it. Okay, so please go through it. If you understand, please let me know in the comment section. So someone in the future, if he is searching, they will be getting an idea. Okay, sorry for not explaining this, guys. Okay, so let us continue. So the next field we will be going through is nothing but context type. So here we will be saying the nature of the body. Okay, so here the format will be in this way: context type, type slash subtype, semicolon with parameters. Okay, so basically what type of contents will be available, you can, if you are having a doubt. So let me zoom in, guys. Okay, so we are having a text that is nothing but plain HTML, XML, CSS. So that comes under text format. Similarly, image, GIF, JPEG, those comes under picture. Audio is basic, MPEG and MP4, that comes under sound. Video is nothing but MPEG, MP4 and QuickTime, that comes under movie. Modeling, VRML, 3D modeling. Applications, you will be having JavaScript, zip files, PDFs, right? Okay, similarly messages, we are having RFC 8222, HTTP, those things. And multimedia mixed is nothing but any kind of parallel or anything. Let's not the combining of multiple files or multiple types. Okay, so now we learnt about MIME, right? Okay, so in the next lecture we will be learning about how a particular mail is transferred, guys. Okay, so before we learnt about how everything is done, right? Yes, so the first thing we'll be discussing in the next lecture is how mail is transferred, and in after that lecture how mail is received. So these are the two protocols that you should understand and you should be clear with, guys. So we'll be discussing about that in our next lecture, guys. Okay, so the protocol which we will be learning is nothing but SMTP. So basically SMTP is used to send the mail till the receiver's mail server, and from there retrieving is done using POP3 or IMP. We'll be discussing about these three protocols in our upcoming lectures, guys. Okay, so in the next lecture we'll be continuing with the mail transfer, so how mail is transferred. Okay, so let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you, thanks for watching.